Hello everyone, it's Moonkin FTW and welcome to another episode of the RCT3 Coaster Challenge. In this episode we're tackling the pipeline coaster, which is another coaster type that I've never really built. It's also one that is exclusive to RCT3. This is not an RCT1 or 2. So as you saw in the beginning there, I'm just trying to figure out what exactly this roller coaster has in terms of inversions and special track pieces. And unfortunately, it doesn't have a whole lot. So we have some pretty basic stuff that we can work with. We don't have any corkscrews, we don't have any dive loops or stuff like that. We do have some twists, so I'm going to try and incorporate that. So here in this particular section of the track, I'm thinking about making kind of a small tunnel that goes under the path where the guests walk. And I think it's a pretty cool idea where first you have this twist over the path and then you go under the path in this kind of small tunnel into a final helix and then our brake run. So I think this layout is pretty cool, and from here on out we can start working on the scenery, of course, as we always do. And I'm going to make one final adjustment here, which is I'm going to make a helix down actually instead of up, and then it goes into a brake run. And there we go, that's actually kind of nice, so I like that much better. Okay, so there we go, that is the layout. We're going to start off with this tunnel here, and I'm going to try and make the land a little bit more realistic. So I'm going to, add some slopes here and there, if you will. So it's not just one single block. And I'm going to try and decorate this. So what I'm going to use here, still going to add some of these terrain modifications here. Now for the queue, it's going to go under the path, under the track. It's kind of a staple of mine that I use for these type of roller coasters, where you have the exit on one side and the entrance on the other side, and the entrance then goes under the path. So I had this idea here that the path would be very wide, but I was like, yeah, but it doesn't quite work. 4 wide, it's a bit too wide. So I'm actually going to change that into 3 wide, and I'm going to add some foliage in between the paths, but you'll see that in just a bit. So here you can see I'm adding some foliage in between, just to make it look a little bit more interesting, and that the path is not too wide, because it kind of looks like a highway if it's too wide. Here I'm using Shy Guy's rock set, and I'm using this mod to basically make this tunnel a little bit more realistic. Like I said, it's not just a flat, simple block, but that it looks a bit more intricate. And I think this rock set is a go-to of mine. I really like this set. It's got some nice looking rocks, and you're able to make some pretty good like tunnels or caves with this add-on. I'm going to add a little bit of foliage here, and yeah, that will be that. Now I also wanted to make some mist here, so when you enter the tunnel that there's some mist effect. I really like that, and there's that. That's that. Now the tunnels I'm going to use, it's called Pateri's tunnel set, I believe, from the top of my head. And I used this one before in the mini suspended coaster, and I'm going to try and incorporate that into this roller coaster as well. I mean, in that episode I said that I would try and use it in future designs, and I think in this design it will really fit to make, again, the whole ride experience a bit more interesting. Now, because this is a non-inverted roller coaster, I'm going to try and stick to my regular supports, and I'm thinking about maybe making either a white track with these kind of like light blue or bluish supports, or I'm thinking about making an orange track with bluish supports, but we'll see that in just a bit. Now when it comes to the supports, it actually took a decent amount of time to make this, and that's simply because this type of track it really doesn't line up well with the bottom supports. So it took me a lot of time to kind of figure out how exactly I'm going to build these supports, and there's a lot of finicking around with, okay, how does this work? And you can see them in this video, you can see them not lining up perfectly, so I have to adjust and everything. So it really wasn't that easy to make realistic looking supports for this ride. So I really had to improvise. I have a lot of pre-made designs when it comes to supports, but unfortunately most of them didn't work. I mean, almost all of them didn't work, so I had to really improvise here. But eventually I'll figure it out. So here I'm going to add just a little tunnel section here for the part where you basically go out of the tunnel. I think that's pretty cool. And killing the last couple of supports that were still there. Again, adding some rock texture for that tunnel segment. And I'm going to go ahead and keep going with the supports, make sure that all the track is supported. and including this tunnel section right here. And then we have our final twist. Just going to add some offset caps here, and then the final twist, which will have like an inverted support, and then into the final brake run, which will just have some basic supports. So from here on out, we're just going to keep adding the side supports. And yeah, it's pretty basic, it's pretty simple, but again, stuff that needs to happen. And yeah, it's all from here on out, it's pretty self-explanatory. Now that I've kind of decided or pinpointed the position of these supports, now I can really get started into making the side supports, which is not going to be that hard. But like I said, there's a lot of custom fabrication with this one, so I can't rely on pre-made supports. So I have to make everything from scratch. So every individual piece I have to place myself, and of course, you know, then I have to place all the flanges individually, and all the knuckles, and all the offset pieces. So this coaster does actually owe me a decent amount of time, simply because the track design is very different from regular roller coasters in the game, like the extended coaster or Giga Coaster, you name it. And because of that, I have to do a lot of fabrication. So I'm here deciding on the color scheme, and this white, this blue-orange doesn't really work quite well. So I decided to go with a white track and blue support color scheme. So here we're making the station, and this station is slightly longer. So I'm just again making this from scratch. I'm using Woden's girders and glass. It's a very nice add-on. It's one of my go-to add-ons that I use for this for the station. I think it looks really nice. Now for the kind of the edge of the station, I'm actually using a different mod. It's called Shy Guys Planters, I believe it's called. Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm a little bit tired. But anyway, it's this really nice add-on for railings, and it really matches the Beastie's path covers, which you'll just see now. And it really just, it's a great combination, and it adds also a nice little layer to the station where, you know, you have that realistic railing. So yeah, we're getting pretty close to the final result of this roller coaster. I'm just going to go over the final kind of supports, make sure everything is in place. Of course, we're going to add a catwalk to the chain lift, and of course the final brake run. So here, of course, we're going to add a catwalk, so that is all in place. Some block brakes, and that will be mostly it, I believe. I'm going to add some oh yeah, of course, here's the flanges. So I'm going to go over the right and add all the flanges. You can see normally I would have this already done with the pre-made roller coaster, pre-made supports, but here I have to do it manually. So I'm going to go over the vertical flanges, and I'm going to go over the ones that are slanted, so these ones, and just make sure everything has those flanges. And that's mostly it. So now we can focus on the foliage. I got some simple trees to make sure that the ride at least has some foliage around it. Of course, it's not the main focus, because the main focus is the ride, but just to make sure that it's not surrounded by a boring, flat, you know, land of grass, and that's it. So just a little bit of foliage to make things a bit more realistic. And yeah, that's it for the pipeline roller coaster. So it's a very unique design. I can't wait to ride it. It's I like the idea of the pipeline coaster, but again, it's unfortunate this roller coaster as well is pretty limited in terms of what you can do with it in terms of track design. But you know, considering the limited options, I think I did a pretty good job. So we can go ahead and yeah, let's go ahead and ride this. I mean, there's not much to it. Without further ado, let's see what it's like to ride this. So let's go ahead and check this out. So here we go into the chain lift. Okay, here we go. Let's see what we got with the pipeline roller coaster. Making our way up into our first twist, which is kind of slow. Oh, that must give some amazing, like, hang time, I guess. Yeah, hang time, I believe. Into our first turn, and then we go around the first element, first inversion, into a bit of an airtime hill here. Okay, so here are the tunnels. Oh, that's nice. That works pretty well. Another little airtime hill, into a twist, and then into our little tunnel here, and then we go into our small helix. Nice. Yeah, these tunnels actually work really well for this type of stuff, so I'm going to remember this into our final twist and into the final brake run. Nice. You know, considering the limited track design, this is quite a nice ride. So there you go, guys. That's the Pipeline roller coaster in the bag. And thank you very much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this. And I'll be back with another episode very soon. But until then, have yourself a wonderful day.